Hello, my name is Kim, and I've been a barber for 40 years. I've just spent quite a bit of time watching the overabundance of how to give yourself a haircut at home during COVID-19 videos that there are on YouTube. And so I decided I should do my own video to help you if you don't want to give yourself a whole haircut, but your bangs are driving you crazy, or it's tickling your ears, or the back of your hair is getting caught in your collar. My goal is to just show you how to take care of a few little things so you can live with your hair until you're able to see your hairstylist. So the first thing, that first problem spot for most people is their bangs. Now, I have not been cutting my hair. I've always cut my hair, but I haven't been doing that since I can't get to my haircut client's hair. So I've been trying to I've been letting it grow out. And for me, these bangs are long. Not for everybody, but this is what you don't want to do when you're cutting bangs is come in and cut it like this. You don't want to pull your hair down and cut it right across like this, because you're really going to mess it up. Sorry, dropped my comb. So the best thing that I recommend for do it yourself at home is to see where those hairs are getting in your eyes, and when mine are hanging down, they do. And what you want to do is, I would recommend doing this with your hair dry, because we all have seen what happens to bangs cut too short, especially when they're wet. As one of the videos called them kindergartner bangs. So we don't want to do that. What you want to do is figure out where you want your hair to hit, so when it's dry, because that's why you're going to cut it dry. And so for me, I don't know if you can see, but I want it to come, about here on my forehead. So what I'm going to do is just grab right there where the hair is a little bit too long, and I'm going to go at it at a little bit of an angle here and just cut that little piece, right? And I'm going to do that with each, just little bits like this, and grab it where I want to cut it, where the length I want it to, right there. And then I can pull it away from my head, but I'm just going to cut right at the top of my fingers. And if you do it in little bitty bits like that, you're not going to get a little shelf. You're just going to get nice, kind of wispy bangs that are now out of your eyes. So right there you can see it needs to go above my eyebrow, so I'm just going to grab it right there above my eyebrow and take a little nip. You just keep at it a little bit at a time so that you don't take off too much, but you get everything off that you want to get off. Okay, so a little bit more right here. You can see how that's just sticking out longer, so I'll just grab it right there. I want it above my eyebrows. Just pull it out and take a little trim. Now I know this seems slower than cutting off like this, but it'll give you a much more natural, much more, just a little bit better look. So now, depending on how long your hair is, the weight of it might pull it down into your face. So I'm going to try to replicate that problem that a lot of people have. And so you can see my hair still just a little long there. I'll take that little bit out. But you can see I don't have a hard line, but my hair is definitely a little bit shorter. So what I want to show you, I'm going to do a little thing. If your hair is too heavy and you need to get some of that off, the best thing to do, and hopefully I can show it here, let me see if I can do it sideways. I want you to lean forward so that you can see the hairs, Yeah, doing a video is always fun. Anyway, so you can see the hairs that are falling over those bangs that you just cut. And what you can do is just turn like this and see how those hairs are long, like the end of this comes down, the ends of these come down, and they create the weight on your bangs. So what you can do is just lean forward so the hair comes forward, and then just take, again, little bits, just little bits, only taking off, can't show you that much. But what you're doing is not cutting this length now, you're cutting the weight of the hair up behind it. So you can see it didn't really get any shorter there, but I got a little bit of the weight off, kind of up the top, the front and the top. So it's a little easier if, well, what I like to do is take a mirror. Let me show you. I like to take my two-sided mirror, and I like to lean forward and then look at myself in my two-sided mirror, which, little tricky here. And I should have washed my mirror before I got on here making a video. But I don't want to start over, wash my hair again. So, I mean, because I already cut the bangs. So anyway, if you lean forward, well, you might get the picture. What I usually do is stand on the floor, put my mirror down there and face it up at myself so that I can see in my mirror. So I'm going to kind of watch it that way. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just taking little tiny bits of hair off where it's a little bit long, close to the front here, but very cautiously. I'm just trying to lighten up the weight that comes, that would push the hair down, so I don't want to take very much off. But now you can see it's just enough lighter, just enough shorter that's not in my eyes. The next thing that I recommend, so the next place that bothers most people is right here around their ears. I don't have a lot of sideburn here, so I don't have too much trouble with that. But if you want to clean up some of this stuff that gets in front of your ear, the biggest thing to remember is if you're going to try to cut around your hair around your ear, you've got a curve right here. And if you go too far past that curve, you're going to get a little triangle cut out of there. So what I recommend people do is just take and tuck the most of the hair behind your ear, this part that's going to be your sideburn. What you want to do is find the top point on your ear, right there, okay? You don't want to go past that, otherwise you're going to go up into the hairline. So you want to mark that spot right there with your thumb or your finger, and just don't go past that spot, and then you can just pick the angle that you want to cut and just cut right there. Okay, and I don't go past my finger. If your hair still feels too long, you can, pull it down just a little bit, nip some of that. But mostly, if you just cut this front part here, this little bit, so that it only goes, you just nip the little part in the front and don't go past that spot on your ear. See, I can pull that little one out of there. But if you do that, you can have a nice clean look. See how it's nice and clean here instead of not so clean there. And yet I haven't really touched too much. Okay, so let me try that on the other side, see if you can see it. So I'm just going to pull this front section down a little bit. Just, you don't want to get into the hair much behind here for this. And then I'm going to find that spot at the top of my ear and put my finger there so I know not to go past it. I'm going to find my angle. So if you like your hair a little more pointy, if you like your sideburns a little bit more pointy, you start a little bit lower here. It's kind of hard to show on. You start a little bit lower here and then go up, but if you like it a little more straight across, you would start a little bit higher here, but you're aiming right for this point where your finger is. Okay, so you can see that's pretty good there. All right, so now I look nice and trim here, even though I haven't really taken a lot of hair off. The third thing that I think really helps with both the side and the front is if you comb your hair forward, and again, I just do all this, I don't do it dry, but I think you should do it dry so you don't take off more than you want to, because if you cut it when it's wet, it's going to spring up shorter and you're going to be upset. So there is on your face, what we in barber school, what we used to call it when I was in barber school, is sort of your perimeter right here. We called it the halo. I don't know why halos are up here, but we called this your halo. So this is your occipital bone, and you can just follow that right down, this curve right here to the tip of this sideburn. All right, so you're going to be imagining that. What you're going to do is pull all this hair forward, and you can do it either the same way I did pinching, it sort of depends on your coordination, or you can just say, okay, I'm going to cut from here, the beginning of my sideburn, and just cut off a little bit in that arc of my face. So a little bit, I'm just taking, you can see, just a little bit off. And I'm going right up the arc of my face. Okay. So I need to take a little more, and this hair coming from behind your ear is going to be shorter. That's okay. That's sort of the shortest place that you want. And you use that as your guide to move on up. Okay. And you can see there's a little bit uneven there, a little bit sticking out up here, just like that. If you have a lot of hair, take a little bit at a time, and then take some more and cut it, and then take some more until you're pulling everything from the back of your head forward right there, and just nip those little bits off. This will help keep your hair from getting into your eyes, and it takes out some of the bulk here where you get your flips. Okay, so we're going to do that on the other side. And my hair's fine enough, I can just do the whole wad at once, but and so you can see, if I had a nice even arc, it would go right across there. I haven't achieved it yet, so I'm going to just take a little bit here. Another way that you can do that is by using your finger as your guide, and then just go in and cut the little bits that are on this side of your finger, which is pretty tricky, but you can do it. what you do is you're just making sure you don't go past where you want to cut. So even if you just do a little tiny bit, or you just hold that little tiny bit there in your fingers, there you go. And yes, if you're not used to it, it's going to be a little awkward, but that's okay. We're not trying to do too much. You can use either hand to do this. All right, so there you go. I probably should have left one whole side undone so you could see that, but there you go. You can see just trimmed up some. Fit blows forward. It's not going to get in my eyes. Not going to bother me. So the one last part that just makes people crazy is the back of their neck. So the back of your neck. The best way to go about this is to pick a spot where you want the hair to not go past. So in my case, I'm really okay with it right now, but if I pick a spot where I want that hair to end, so let's say this is where it's too long, it bothers me, put my finger there, then I pick up my glasses, make sure I'm still in the camera. I mean, I pick up my glasses, yeah. Let's talk about the scissors, right? And then I can feel where my line is, and I can just cut right there along my finger. I can do it by feel. And I think you can see a little bit. My hair's curly, so it doesn't make a real straight line, but come there. I'm going to take off that little bit that's hanging out on the edge. Same way, just go right beside my finger. I hope you can hear me, but then come a little bit further, and again, put my finger right where I want the line to be. Then cut it right against my finger. So some of that, okay, that's just sitting there. Okay, so I missed some of that. Grab the comb again. Comb that down, see where I missed that little bit right there. I'll go back to it. All right, so I think you can see that. Yeah, that's quite a bit better. Let's see, one more line there. And then what's left down here, right here, you can either, I kind of look at it, I can look at it here. Let me see if I can show you. I'm always laughing at people and their props, and now I get to laugh at myself and my props. All right, it's almost hard to see, but right there you can see that hair. That's hair from below the line, and I want to get rid of as much of it as I can. So I'm going to pull it out right there, and be careful not to cut myself, and just get rid of those pieces of hair. No, it's hard to see. Right. Yeah, you have to feel where your hand is. Don't cut your fingers, but anyway, that will give you most of it, and you can sometimes do like that. Just be careful. All right, and then you do the same thing on the other side, which I'm not going to take any more time in this video to do. But what I want to show you is this. So you can see I've got a relatively good line. If I still don't like some of that line, don't like that little piece pointing, sticking out there at the very bottom, I can just come in and nip that off. Okay. But it's really hard to, I used to crack myself up trying to cut my hair like this, because I could never get my scissors at the right angle, so I worked out that other way, and it's a lot easier to do. And see that little bitty piece there, don't take that off. Then if this is too hairy on your neck here for you, you can get some clippers or your trimmers and just cut down, or you can work out a little bit with scissors, but mostly you're going to be fine just like that. So there you have it. It's not a full haircut. You can see this side's longer than this side. That's okay, because I'm going to cut that. But I do see one other thing that might make some of you crazy, and that's makes me crazy when this hair is sticking out right here. So I also just sometimes will just take, again, you want to grab it just where you want to cut it. You don't want to take any more off than that, but you can find these little spots that, well, especially if you have curly hair, that just kind of stick out too much. You can even take this just a little bit and go, well, that's a little too long. Go at it with the tips so you're not cutting too much at a time. Sometimes it's hard to hold it with your finger, but there you go. And you can see that just stops some of that ultra sticking out. Same way down here. These curls make me a little nuts. So what you're just trying to do is just take care of the problem areas and let everything else kind of be. Doesn't matter if it's all perfectly even, because you're not really doing a whole haircut, you're just trimming. So there you go. I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see y'all soon. All right, thanks.